about eating his first worm, but people were just always daring him to do things. And he figured that it was best to look ahead, figure things out, get himself ready. Last winter, Alan had dared him to stay out all night in an igloo they had built in Tom's backyard. Why not? Billy had thought to himself. What can happen? About midnight, a little shivering under his blankets in the darkness, Billy wondered whether he should give up and go home. His feet felt like aching stones in his boots. Even his tongue, inside his mouth, was cold. But half an hour later, as he was stubbornly dancing out in the moonlight to keep warm, Tom's dog Martha had come along with 6 other dogs, all in a pack, and Billy had coaxed them into the igloo and locked the door with an orange crate. And after they had all stopped nipping and barking and resting and sniffing around, they all fallen to sleep in a heap, Billy in the middle, as warm as an onion and stew. But he hadn't thought of anything special to do to prepare himself for eating a worm, so he was just limbering up in general. Push-ups, jumping jacks, knee bends, mud-faced, perspiring. Nearby, on an orange crate, he set out bottles of ketchup or Worcestershire sauce, jars of piccalilli and mustard, a box of crackers, 11, a slice of cheese, salt and pepper shaker, his mother's 10 cinnamon and sugar shaker, a box of Kleenex, some horseradish, a jar of maraschino cherries, and a plastic honey bear. Billy poked his head in the door. Ready? Billy scrambled up, brushing back his hair. Yeah. Ta-da! Tom flung the door open, and Alan marched in carrying a covered silver platter in both hands. Joe slouching along beside him, nodding and smiling at his teeth. Tom dragged an orange crate over beside him first, and Alan set the platter on. A chair! Cried Alan. A chair for the monster! Come on, said Billy. Cut the clowning. Tom found an old milking stool in one of the horse stalls. Joe dusted it off with his napkin and, showing his teeth, ushered Billy onto it. Ladies and gentlemen, shouted Alan, I present my masterpiece. Worm out of mud. The cover off the platter. Ugh! Cried Billy, recoiling. The huge night crawler sprawled limply in the center of the platter, brown and steep. Boiled, said Tom. We boiled it. Billy stormed about the barn, kicking barrels of posts, arguing, a night crawler's not a worm. If it was a worm, it'd be called a worm. A night crawler's a night crawler. Finally, Joe ran off to get his father's dictionary. Night crawler, noun. Earthworm, ESP. A large earthworm found on the soil surface at night. Billy kicked the barrel. It still wasn't fair. Everybody knew the difference between a night crawler and a worm. Look at the thing. Ugh. They got a souvenir pencil from the Empire State. He poked it with his finger. Alan said right from the start that he and Joe could choose the worms. Billy was going to cheat. The bet was off. He got up and started for the door. He figured he had better things to do all day than argue with the feet. So Tom took Billy's side into one of the horse stalls, put his arm around his shoulders, and started talking to him about George Cunningham's brother's bike, and how they could ride it on the trail under the power lines behind the Bell's farm, up and down the hills, bounding over rocks. Sure, it was a big worm, but it only needed a couple more bites. Did he want to lose a mini bite over 2 bites? Slop enough mustard and ketchup and horseradish on it, and he wouldn't even taste it. Yeah, I could probably eat this one, said Billy. But I gotta eat 15. Can't quit now, said Tom. Look down. He nodded over towards Alan and Joe, waiting beside the orange tree. They'll tell everybody you were chicken. It'll be all over school. Come on. So he led Billy back to the orange tree, tied a napkin around his neck, and sat him down. Alan flourished a knife and fork. Would Monster eat like carved leg thighs or crust thighs? Ketchup, said Tom. Here. He glopped ketchup and mustard and horseradish on the knife blade. Squeezed a few lemon drops and salted and pepper. Billy closed his eyes and opened his mouth. But right before Tom was about to poke it into Billy's open mouth, he shut his mouth and opened his eyes and said, "No, let me." Tom handed him the fork. Billy gazed at the dripping ketchup and mustard and horseradish, thinking, "Yeah, it's all right thinking about it, talking about eating worms, but doing it?" Tom whispered in his ear, Billy poked the fork into his mouth, chewed furiously, gulped, gulped. His eyes crossed, swam, quit shut. He flapped his arms wildly. And then he opened his eyes and smiled beatifically up at Tom. "Super, garçon."